This is a Lyran Feline channeling 9/17/2019, 8:26. Alright, thank you for listening to our transmission. We are very grateful for your attention during our communication with you. First and foremost, we wish to describe our ways of perception with you. We wish to dial more deeply into your reality by allowing for each of you to become more familiarized with us and how we see things. Understand that our kind observes reality through which you understand to be the third eye. Naturally, it is a direct extension of our sense in a way of sight that is permanently active. When we look at things, we are in many ways seeing through things you consider to be physical. We are able to gaze into the reality, and we are able to see different webs of entanglement that exist between individuals and objects. It allows for us to calculate probability as well as a enhanced ability to perceive the desires that individuals have based on their connections to the world around them. This allows for us again to have an enhanced ability to calculate probability, and because we are able to calculate probability to a T, we are able to remain very much in a incognito sense of self. So beings that wish to remote view us, beings that wish to track us, beings that wish to predict us are faced with a rather intense obstacle because we are able to calculate 3 steps ahead of them, so we are able to see the ways which they would desire to predict us, the ways they would wish to track us, and we have already, by that point in time in which these beings are enacting these desires, we've already moved away. So in many ways, we are very stealthy, we are very sly. We wish to be this way for a variety of reasons. There are many conflicts, you could say, many dramas, many stories that are being played out throughout the multiverse. We do not wish to become involved in really any of it because it is not fun to us. Largely speaking, we are scientists, we are researchers, we are explorers, we are adventurers. We, in many ways, like to go where few have gone before. We enjoy discovering new worlds, new planets, new locations, new resources, new technologies. And we allow for our society to be built around this type of exploration. There's a reason you have the phrase curiosity killed the cat in your common vernacular and in your history of phrases. It is very true that cats are naturally curious as you experience them on your world, and we as humanoid feline beings are also very curious, and our society is built upon satiating this endless curiosity. If we were to spend time getting involved in all of the different dramas and stories that are taking place throughout the multiverse and universe that you experience, it would in many ways not be as supportive for that collective dream all of our kind is embarking on. Remember that we do not just do this exploration for ourselves, we do this exploration for all of you, for all aspects of sentient kind within the multiverse, because there needs to be someone doing this. Oftentimes, civilizations get so wrapped up in agendas, and they get so wrapped up in games, and they get so wrapped up in other worlds and these stories between their kind and other kind, that they, in many ways, do not fully embark into the cosmos. And we, in many ways, wish to go where no one has gone before, so we can create maps of the cosmos, we can create diagrams of the cosmos, so all beings can then use our archives to draw upon it to increase their ease of space travel and increase their ability to learn about what is in existence. This is our collective passion. This is our collective agreement. So we, for the most part, choose as a whole to move in this direction. We do, of course, lend support from time to time, but again, in a very background way. Oftentimes, when we discover ancient technologies located within worlds, or we discover new technologies when we interact with a new civilization, we oftentimes will share this, we will disseminate this through a variety of different networks, so that way the new insights, the new discoveries, the new resources, the new informational components are then able to reach whomever is requesting such information. So in many ways, you could say we are deliverers of the exotic for whomever is asking. That is our major role. We assist your kind and many other races in the ability to manifest rather interesting and peculiar resources that come in handy oftentimes when it would be least expected. This again can be forgotten abilities. This can be technologies that can augment DNA. This may be technologies that allow for bubbles of reality to be stabilized around an individual so they are able to teleport certain things into their reality, and they can in many ways have their own personal reality amplified whilst being in a collective reality. These are just some examples of the technologies we have uncovered and that we share. In many ways, we work to facilitate the understanding of how certain races can develop these types of technologies for themselves so they can increase their own advancement. This is one aspect of our society. We do, however, have what you call incarnational themes on your Earth. So members of our society are sharing incarnations with members of your Earth. We do, from time to time, send assistance to our incarnational counterparts, because the more that you on Earth are able to evolve, the more this dramatically benefits our society as a whole. So we are able to rapidly increase our vibration through the shared telepathic link between our version of ourselves and our incarnational components of ourselves located on your Earth. One of the reasons for this is your version of Earth, in many ways, is linked to a variety of extraterrestrial races through your human DNA. So when you go through rapid levels of advancement on your Earth, it raises your vibration to a point where your DNA body activates and it opens. And it allows for intense downloads to then emerge in your DNA structure. These downloads are then disseminated to your personal bodies, but they also are telepathically disseminated through the DNA connection that you share with other extraterrestrial species. So understand, when you go through your upgrades, your cosmic upgrades during your age of transformation, it then disseminates these upgrades, disseminates these teachings to a variety of different worlds. Our world is one of them. So we will in many ways assist you if you are an incarnational counterpart to us. We will oftentimes assist you in going through these awakening processes in a very amplified way so you can perceive more, you can handle more, and as a result it allows for our society and our counterparts of your incarnational theme to be able to, in many ways, reap many of the benefits from your upgrades. This allows for our evolution to skyrocket, and it allows for our insights and downloads to increase tenfold so we can have greater understandings of the cosmos, so we can have greater understandings of the universe. So we in many ways will help to stabilize your energetic fields while you are going through many of your pivotal moments of self-growth and transformation. So this is in many ways something we do to assist you in your evolution, but again, we mainly do this because it assists our kind in being able to explore, and it also allows for, again, all beings that are linked to you through the DNA to receive the teachings. So in many ways, we do this not to meddle with your journey. We do this to ensure that all beings that are in existence that are linked to your human bodies through the DNA are able to benefit very strongly from your upgrades, and that you as individuals are able to benefit very strongly for your upgrades. Because again, we like to pioneer, we like to explore, and we then share this with whomever requests the information. This is a little bit of our society and a little bit about our major theme. We, in many ways, are also master architects. We work to discover new ways to create structures and geometric configurations of structures, and we will then share these designs with different civilizations. We, in many ways, were very much connected to the construction of your pyramids in Egypt. This, in many ways, was a collective manifestation that involved both humanity as well as a variety of extraterrestrial kind. We in many ways assisted in the pyramidal construction, and it is one of our greatest pride generators in our kind's history. We look at your pyramids from time to time, and we look at it as a milestone in our own evolution, because in order for these pyramids to be created, we had to cooperate with a variety of different civilizations, many of which our ancestors had feuds with. So when these pyramids were created, we saw it as a grand accomplishment because it unified a variety of species, including your species, to come together to be able to generate such structures. Understand that Earth is not the only location where there are pyramids. We oftentimes create these structures in a variety of other worlds with a variety of other civilizations altogether that are relevant to whatever world we are creating the pyramids upon. One of the reasons the pyramids function in the way that they do is they work to, in many ways, extract energy from the planetary surface and the underground aspects of the planet. And because of the apex point of the pyramid in the center, these energies from the planet are then brought up through the pyramid, they are reverberated through the stones, and they then are beamed through that apex point. As they are beamed through the apex point, they come into contact with the energetic etheric grid of your world, which is linked to your collective consciousness of the planet. This then allows for the information that is stored beneath that region to then be disseminated psychically throughout your planet. So pyramids in many ways are built upon centers that have high vibrational information stored within them, and the pyramids then help to disseminate this information throughout the collective. So whenever a pyramid is constructed by our kind and the other races involved in the project, it allows for whomever is existing on that world where the pyramid is built upon to skyrocket their own evolution, because they are tapping in to an entire next level of knowledge that is native to their planet, so it's completely relevant for them. And because these beings on the planet are then able to accelerate their evolution through the pyramidal construct, it also then allows for their evolution to skyrocket, which then skyrockets again the evolutionary process of all beings that have helped them create the pyramid. So whenever ETs, as you call us, are assisting your kind, remember, we're also doing it because it directly impacts us. As you evolve and you expand your consciousness rapidly, it catalyzes our own evolution. That's why so many beings are drawn to your planet right now, because you are evolving in a way your kind has not done for literally thousands of years. It's unprecedented, the amount of evolution you're currently going through. So we are all drawn to you because we understand that it will infinitely expand us just by being in your presence. We know that you consider all of us to be infinitely advanced, but remember, we also consider you to be infinitely advanced, despite the fact you behave in ways that are, from time to time, rather primitive. But we do not judge you for that. We say that from a neutral observational standpoint. And that's just because you are integrating the animal aspect of yourself with the more cosmic aspect of yourself, just as our kind had to do. We in many ways had a variety of different feline tendencies and behaviors that are in many ways very relevant to the types of behaviors you see felines exhibiting on your planet. We had to overcome many of those themes. It was simply part of our nature, part of our DNA programming, in a way that was reflective of the codes we received when our original body types were constructed. So we also had to go through an evolution. We also had to overcome that. We also had to work from being physical beings to then becoming non-physical beings. Our society in many ways was a feline humanoid race that was very physical in nature. We had in many ways tribal behaviors. We had territorial issues. We had all types of different themes that are very similar to what you experience in your own feline kingdom. With that being said, we also made contact with a variety of other kind. We also had many other teachers. Because we had higher capacities that allowed for us to be able to perceive reality in very deep and profound ways, it allowed for us, just like your society, to evolve over time. However, we did not in many ways become as materialistic as your kind did. We did not even really start building structures until it got to a point where we could very easily begin to manipulate our reality with our own consciousness. Before that, our structures were very rudimentary because our home world in many ways was balanced. It did not require the amount of shelter that your home world requires because of your turbulent weather patterns. Our emotions were much more balanced as a whole, so our evolution from physical to non-physical was much more easy. We began our advanced constructions as our telepathic powers began to grow. We developed our telepathic powers much more quickly than your kind is doing, mainly because, again, of our predisposition for these powers, because, again, we are feline in nature. It is part of our DNA makeup to be inherently psychic, to be inherently awakened. So our physical evolution went by rather quickly. It did have a great deal of conflict, and as we, again, began to understand the complex mathematics and geometric patterns of the universe, we, in many ways, began to develop ships and technologies, and as we began to make our way towards our apex point of evolution from physical into non-physical, it was there that we had our greatest challenge, because we, in that way, were introduced to what you would call war, in a intergalactic type of way, where we had to learn how to open our heart center to overcome a very intense conflict that involved multiple races. This was our greatest challenge. As we were at the peak of our spiritual evolution and we began constructing buildings and craft with our own consciousness, it was then that we became an equal match for other beings that had developed these psychic senses and the psychic abilities, but had not balanced the heart energy. So So the reason we manifested such an experience was because we too were needing to open our hearts much more greatly, because it is the heart center that finally allows for you to make that transition from physical to non-physical levels of awareness. So we are now in many ways non-physical beings, although if you were to perceive us, we would still have the body that would be similar to a humanoid feline type being. When we were at that point of our evolution where we had this conflict, we had a great deal of battles, you would say, with many kinds, in particular which you call the reptilian kind, were the main ones we were involved with, although they were not the only one. After some time, we began to realize that the war was infinite in nature. It would not go away, no matter how advanced we made our systems, no matter how advanced we made our strategies, no matter how advanced we enabled our predictive abilities to become. And we realized the only way to transcend this conflict was to fully open the heart center, which in many ways caused a rather chaotic moment within our collective society, because there were many beings that had the belief system that we needed to fight in order to survive. However, we managed to convince them that through opening the heart center, we would then be able to transcend the experience altogether, and we would no longer have the need to fight. This is a little bit of our society and our history. We hope you have found it fascinating. Our love to all of you. Thank you, beings of Earth.